Thank you for your time being here us today. I want to congratulate you for the Factory of the Year award.
Thank you very much.
I think it was for you also a personal success, not only for the factory.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that's really a great, not only I would say a great affirmation of all the work we have done in the last years, it's also a great motivation to continue in that direction. And I mean, I guess you can imagine that to introduce and to implement all these lean principles and to really implement also a kind of lean culture in all our operations is not always an easy journey. It's an exhausting journey, and that the jury has really awarded us now when we took place, or when we first took part in that competition, and rewarded us with the highest category of the GEO Award, which really confirms global excellence in operations along the entire value chain, is really a great success for the entire team. And I'm really proud of my team that they have developed in such a positive way, and that they have implemented these lean principles in the last years.
What does it mean, the IWC factory? How many people are working there? What is the input? What is the outcome of the factory? Can you tell us a little bit more about what is produced and how it's produced there?
Yeah, I mean, it's a quite new Manufakturzentrum. I don't know if you have already seen it, but basically we have, unfortunately not. So you have to come as soon as it is again possible after the whole COVID topic. I mean, in this new Manufakturzentrum, we are basically combining all our production processes, from the movement parts production, the case production, onto the movement, and partly also the watch assembly. We have around 250 people working over there at the moment, and yeah, and it's a important pillar for our whole verticalization strategy, and to expand our competences in movement production.
Maybe a not very fair question, but does the pandemic affected a lot the production cycle in Schaffhausen, or it was managed to stay relatively stable in these times?
No, I think the last year was really one of the most turbulent years in the last 20 years, and it was a really challenging year. We had months where basically we had to go massively in short-term work, because of course all the shops were closed, all the boutiques are closed, so also we could not sell as many products as normal, of course. And then at the end of the year we had a very positive trend towards Christmas, and we had to adapt our production very flexibly to all these fluctuations. And I think that all the lean principles and all the agility we tried to implement in our new Manufakturzentrum over the last years, which in the end also led to the winning of this GEO Award, was an absolutely important pillar and a great factor to manage these fluctuations very well.
Regarding about manufacturing, do you produce also the cases, and especially the precious cases, the precious metal cases there?
Yes, yes, we produce our cases there, from the raw material to the different components that are needed for the cases onto the finished cases, and we have a dedicated line, as we call it, for precious metal. Why do we have a dedicated line? First of all, the volumes are, of course, a bit lower than for the other references. And at the same time, we are working towards a circular economy, and therefore we try to absorb and to reuse the materials from the machined precious metal and to reuse it again.
And of course, the precious metal has another way of handling in the factory as
absolutely
stainless steel, of course, from several reasons, from security to economical and ecological reasons. How about the movements? So that means if you can produce the case, that means you can produce also all the components for the movements there.
Yes, that is exactly what we are doing. We are producing our own movement components in the new Manufakturzentrum. And the nice thing about this new layout of this manufacturing site is that really we were able to build up the process from the raw material to the movement parts manufacturing onto the movement assembly and the watch assembly in a very logical and sequential flow. Yeah, was an important factor to be more efficient, to increase the quality, and also to have a great customer experience for our visitors.
From the movement producing point of view, I suppose you have a separate department for the hot horlogerie pieces, or you have more departments specialized for different movements or for different collection? How is split the movement production and finishes?
Yes, that's true. For the haute horlogerie pieces, meaning all the perpetual calendars, tourbillon pieces, minute repeaters, etc., we have a dedicated department that basically still sits here in the headquarters in Schaffhausen. And for all the other movements from our chronographs, our automatic movements, and the hand-wound movements, we have dedicated production lines or assembly lines in our new Manufakturzentrum.
So from the press release that I received regarding the award that you take the Factory of the Year, there are some keywords like zero emission, reducing the greenhouse gas, and streamlining the technologies processes. But this comes with a price. What is the most developed? Are the most difficult steps in further improvement regarding this let's say more ecological and circular economy? What are the most difficult steps that need to be fulfilled or encountered?
Yeah, I mean, maybe before answering concretely your question, I think it's important to emphasize again also here that reducing the impacts of our business on the environment is really one of our cornerstones of our commitment to sustainability. And maybe you have already read our sustainability report of 2020, where we have basically identified 3 material topics that are important for us. First of all, it is all around climate change and energy. Then we have water, packaging, and waste. And the third topic is then circular economy. And what is important is that when we as a company try to manage all these environmental impacts, we not only try to do this for our own operations, we also consider our sourcing decisions, we consider it in community investments or in the choices we make in our role as an employer. And of course, I mean, as a COO, I can only talk about the operations topics and the things we do in our Manufakturzentrum, and maybe a few topics to highlight what we have done. I said that in the new Manufakturzentrum, we really tried to perfectly reflect all our production needs and to build up all the processes in a logical way. But at the same time, when building this new Manufakturzentrum, we also took into consideration many green aspects. For example, LED lighting, we have automatic sunshades, we try to reuse the heat of our machines for heating and as well cooling. We have 2 groundwater sources for heating and cooling purposes as well. And at the end, we also use only renewable energy for our power consumption. And then coming to your question, I think, yes, it is our commitment to go in all these directions. But what is always difficult is that sometimes you have technical requirement or process requirements that don't make it very easy to just say, okay, let's switch from plastic to another material. For example, if you're talking about packaging, sometimes, for example, the packaging of our straps, it's not super easy to just go from plastic to another packaging. And these are the things that we try to approach with our engineer mindset, and to continuously improve step by step. Just to give you maybe an example on the packaging, we have introduced 2 years ago a complete new package for all our watches. And with this new package, we were able, I mean, this package is now a kind of travel pouch. So it is really used by our customers after the purchase. And by this, we could, first of all, reduce the overall volume and weight by more than 30%, which is a very positive impact on all the logistics emissions. And at the same time, we were able to reduce more than 90% of plastic waste in this new packaging.
It is considered as a parenthesis. For instance, you know, there are certain mobile phone suppliers that from last year they don't send anymore the charger, with the idea that everyone has a charger at home. Making a parallel, it is maybe thought that someone who buys the watch to buy only the watch and not the entire package with the pouch, with the case and everything. So just for instance, just for the watch, because he already has at home a pouch that he can use. Yeah, of course. I mean, you always have that choice. I mean, you don't have to take the packaging in the boutique. So this is up to our customers to decide. What we offer is, because you were talking about pouch and packaging, so it's basically just a pouch in the end, in the new packaging, that you get with you and that you can use, as I said, as a travel pouch or as a storage for your watch. But of course, if you decide just to take the watch, you can do that, and you leave the pouch in the watch. These pouches are general pouches, so we can use it for all our models, we can use it for all references, and we don't need to give it to our customers with a dedicated watch. Did you encounter in this search for the zero emission, did you encounter obstacles from, let's say, political and public opinion, or this kind? So, better said, did you get support from the state, for instance, or from government into going into the green direction? Or it was forced, or it came naturally? No, I have to say, first of all, we have a very good collaboration with the local authorities here in Schaffhausen. I think, I mean, IWC Schaffhausen is a kind of ambassador of Schaffhausen in the world. So we have a very good collaboration and connection to the authorities here. Nevertheless, all these environmental aspects are really important to us, and therefore come kind of naturally. And we really work with all our ambitions to continuously improve and to continuously work towards these environmental topics. This concept of sustainable luxury has at the end an impact of the customer experience at the end, starting from production until the boutique and the end experience? I think it has not a dedicated impact on the customer experience. I think sustainability is a kind of mindset, and it is a journey that basically never ends. In that context, sustainability, luxury starts with our products as such. And the nice thing here is that we, as a manufacturer of luxury watches, is that we build products that are built to last for generation, and which makes it in a way an intrinsically sustainable product. But of course, I mean, that's not enough. We also, I mean, work towards very sustainable way of manufacturing these products. And we do a lot of efforts in that regard, and we really try to incorporate the entire value chain, from the sourcing of raw materials, as I said, especially diamond sourcing and sourcing of precious metal, onto the manufacturing and the distribution of our products. And it's also, I see it maybe not very intended, but I see it also as a education of the customer. For instance, instead of throwing the pouch or throwing a generic box, keeping it and use it for as long as possible.
Yes, and I think it is always a good proof if you don't have to convince the customer, but if you do a product that he likes to use. So, and this is the feedback what I get from all our markets, basically, that is with this new packaging we have created, we have really created a value add for our customers. They like to use it. It's compact, it's small, it's nice looking, and it is very practical to use. So we don't really have to convince our customer to say, now you have a smaller package and yeah, it has changed, but it's really people like to use our packaging and thinks this is a great confirmation of or a great confirmation that we have done this development in the right manner.
Mm-hmm. I would like to go more into a more personal side. You have 13 years of work at IWC already. This is a good number. It's not a bad number. It's a very good number. Can you tell me a very personal, rewarding experience that you had in the last 13?
Yes, I mean, that's not very difficult because that was absolutely the opening of the new Manufakturzentrum in 2018. You have to imagine, as an operations guy, I basically dreamt of designing a new Manufakturzentrum where we can combine all our production processes from the movement parts manufacturing, case production, movement assembly, watch assembly under one roof, and where we can really reflect all our processes in a perfect way and in a logical way was of course a great thing. And now to see that this new Manufakturzentrum after 2 years in operations really fulfills all our requirements and is a huge success for all our employees is great to see. And at the same time, and this is what I also really like about the new Manufakturzentrum, it is a great opportunity to show our manufacturing processes, our skills, our craftsmanship, and also the combination of this traditional craftsmanship with the modern technology of producing our watches towards our customers. And I think this is something that is a great thing because we are proud of what we are doing. We have a great manufacturer, we are authentic, and to show that to our customers is a great opportunity. And I think the new Manufakturzentrum, with all the transparency it delivers, is a great vehicle to do so.
As a customer is able to travel and visit the manufacturer, of course, not in this pandemic times, but it will be possible when everything gets more or less over to come and visit the manufacturer.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you cannot just walk in. Of course, you have
yes, of course, organized.
But yes, that's absolutely feasible. And that's exactly the intent behind this transparent Manufakturzentrum. We want to show our skills, our manufacturing processes, what we are doing here in Schaffhausen and what we are doing here locally in Switzerland, in Schaffhausen, to our customers. And therefore, we are very happy to welcome as many customers as possible to our new Manufakturzentrum here in Schaffhausen. And we really hope that the pandemic will pass by very soon and that we can welcome customers physically here again very soon. But in the meantime, and I think maybe that's also interesting to tell, is that we have established a kind of digital manufacture visit for the customers worldwide that are interesting to have a visit and to have a look into our production processes also during this pandemic.
Yes, you have a very strong online program, which I really appreciate and like. I also use it, the loop function, with one of your watchmakers, and he showed me how everything is working in the your spectacular perpetual calendar and so on. So it was very interesting because it was much nicer, even from see it in the person, because you had the possibility to see every detail at on the big screen and everything. It was a very nice experience.
It was our new Cyberloupe, right? So where you
the Cyberloupe,
basically see everything, the whole assembly process, every detail through the eyes of a watchmaker. Yeah, I think that's really a great thing we have established here.
Do you have a favorite department in the entire factory? A place that you are feeling more like, let's say, at home or very familiar and special for you?
I mean, it's honestly it's a difficult question, because to produce such beautiful watches and such a mechanical timepiece really comprises many fascinating areas of expertise, of talents, of passion, from the manufacturing, from the development process to selling our products, and even the customer service. But yes, I mean, I think what I like in my position as COO is really the operations department as such. It's not just one department, it's maybe the whole operations process. And why do I like that? I don't just say that because I'm responsible for that area. I really feel so, because what I really like is the huge bandwidth of this department, or of this area. It really starts from the product strategy, early stage of product development, where you're curious about about the innovations you put into the new products, about the design you put into the products. Then the responsibility and the management of the entire supply chain, the manufacturing processes. I mean, that's per se a very interesting task, because of all these tiny things that need to fit together perfectly, and this perfect execution really fascinates me a lot. And then you have also all the quality processes, and also the customer service, where you have the direct customer contact, which I really like a lot. And therefore I think, yes, my home is operations, and I really like to work in that area.
Now comes the most important question of all. IWC have a very nice lineup of watches covering more styles and so on. More than sure you have a lineup that you like, and especially a watch that you really love. Can you tell us which watch, what watch is it, and why you like it so much?
Yes, I think that's even a more difficult question than the one before, because as you said, we have a really highly attractive lineup and a broad product offering. We have 6 product families, ranging from classical watches to real sport watches, timelessly elegant watches, new materials, all these nice products. So it's really difficult to pick one, especially after 13 years working for such a great company. However, if you ask me, I really do have a favorite piece, and that is the perpetual calendar, the Portuguese perpetual calendar in 18-karat white gold with a blue dial. Why? Well, first of all, I think the perpetual calendar, which was developed, as you may know, by our former head watchmaker Kurt Klaus, is really one of the most iconic complications from Schaffhausen, and it's really iconic in the entire watch industry. You said you were able to attend such a Cyberloupe meeting where someone was assembling the perpetual chronograph, the perpetual calendar mechanism. And this is something that really fascinates me. You have to imagine that out of 80 individual parts, the perpetual calendar program automatically recognizes the different lengths of the months and even of the leap years. And this is something that fascinates me until today. And in addition to that, I really like the beautiful design of this shimmering white gold and the blue dial. So if you ask me, what is your favorite watch? I think the Portuguese perpetual calendar is the one I would go for.
Yeah, And the last question, I see that Jessica is also announces the last question that I have. How do you see the future in watchmaking, but not from the point of marketing, but from your position of CEO of IWC Watches?
Well, generally, I think I'm very optimistic about the future of watchmaking. I think especially when you ask me about operations or the manufacturing aspect, I think that the manufacturing of mechanical luxury watches is a traditional craftsmanship that has already survived for centuries. And today people are more than ever concerned about what products they buy, what these products stand for, and what values they embody. And I can imagine sustainability aspects become even more important in the future,
of course,
because people do not want any longer to buy a product that has a limited lifespan or that has been already shipped several times across the entire globe. And in this context, I think IWC naturally has an interesting perspective for the next years and for the future. We manufacture our products with a high level of vertical integration. We manufacture our products locally in Switzerland, and we manufacture them in a very sustainable way, as I mentioned already earlier. So I think that producing a product that is made to last for generations will be also a very attractive product for the future. And
of course,
when people rethink their consumption habits even more.
Of course. Andreas, thank you very much for your time. I hope I will be able to visit you at Schaffhausen soon.
Yes, you're welcome at any time after this COVID pandemic. Let's cross fingers that we will have soon our doors open again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Ciao.
Bye-bye.